The quiet in this room is louder than you expected it to be. You are sitting in a place you have sat 100 times before, but tonight everything feels different. The air in the room is heavier. The silence between your thoughts is longer. And there is something sitting in the center of your chest that you have not been able to name, a weight that has been pressing down on you ever since you heard what was said, ever since that phone call, ever since that conversation, ever since that envelope was opened and the world as you understood it tilted just slightly off its axis. You found out something you were never supposed to know. Or maybe you always knew it, somewhere deep in your gut, and you just never had the courage to look at it directly. But now it is out. It is exposed. It is sitting in the open air between you and everyone else, and you are not sure what to do with your hands, or your heart, or the name you have carried your whole life. My child, I know what you heard. I know the name that was spoken, the story that was told, the truth that came rushing in like a flood through a cracked dam. I know because I was there when it happened. I was there when it was hidden. I was there when the secret was first buried, and I have been here every single day since, waiting for this moment, not because I wanted to hurt you, but because I wanted you to finally be free. You think this secret defines you now. You think the story that was just exposed has rewritten everything you thought you knew about who you are. But that is not what is happening here. What is happening is that the prison you did not even know you were living in is having its door ripped off its hinges. And what is on the other side of that door is not shame. It is not disgrace. It is not a smaller version of you. What is on the other side of that door is your real name. Let me ask you something. Have you spoken this out loud to anyone yet? Not just the fact of what you found out, but the way it made you feel. The smallness. The confusion. The anger that you are not even sure you have a right to feel. Have you said any of that out loud? I am listening right now. Tell me. Not the polished version. Not the version you would tell a friend at church. Tell me the raw thing that is sitting in your throat right now. I already know it, but I want you to say it. Because the moment you speak it into the air between us, the power it has over you begins to crack. Say it to me now. I am not going anywhere. There is a shame that comes with a secret being exposed that has nothing to do with whether you were the one who kept it. You did not bury this thing. You did not hide it. You were not even born when some of these decisions were made. And yet here you are, carrying the weight of someone else's choices, someone else's fear, someone else's silence, as if it were your own. You feel stained by association. You feel like the name you have carried your whole life now has an asterisk next to it, a footnote that changes everything. That feeling is real. I am not going to tell you to shake it off or get over it. That feeling is the signal that something deep in you is crying out for truth. The problem is that the enemy of your soul has taken that cry and twisted it into a verdict. He has taken your longing for clarity and turned it into a sentence. He has whispered to you that this secret defines you, that this revelation cancels your identity, that the name you were given is somehow tainted and you will never be able to wash it clean. That is a lie. And I am going to tell you the truth. But first, look at what you have done with this weight. Be honest with me. Where have you gone with it? Have you tried to bury it deeper by distracting yourself? Have you gone back over the details in your mind 100 times, trying to find a way to make it not true? Have you picked up the phone to call someone and then put it down because you did not know how to say the words? Have you sat in the dark and wondered who else knows, who else has always known, who else was keeping this from you? You have been searching for an answer in the wrong places. Not because you are foolish, but because you are desperate. And desperation does not always lead us to the right door. Sometimes it leads us to the same old doors we have tried before. The door of isolation, where you tell yourself no one would understand. The door of control, where you try to manage the narrative before anyone else can. The door of performance, where you try to be so good, so right, so put together that no one will look too closely at the crack in your foundation. The door of pretending, where you smile and nod and act like nothing has changed when everything has changed. I am not angry at you for these things. I am not disappointed. I am not sitting here shaking my head at the ways you have tried to handle this on your own. I am looking at you with more tenderness than you can comprehend. Because I know that every single one of those wrong turns came from a place of fear. And I have never condemned a frightened child for running in the wrong direction. I just call them back. Come back to me. Right here. Let me tell you a story. There was a man once, long before you were born, who carried a name that was not his own. He was given a name by his father, a name full of promise and destiny. But then his brothers, the very people who should have protected him, took that name and threw it into a pit. They sold him into slavery. They ripped his identity away from him and sent him to a foreign land where no one knew who he was or where he came from. And for years, that man lived under a shadow. He served in a house that was not his. He was falsely accused. He was thrown into a prison where he was forgotten. Everything about his life seemed to scream that his name meant nothing, that his story had been hijacked, that the secret of what had been done to him would define the rest of his days. But here is what that man did not know while he was sitting in that prison. He did not know that a famine was coming. He did not know that the very brothers who had sold him would one day stand before him, desperate and hungry, needing the very thing he had been given in secret. He did not know that every single step of his humiliation was actually a preparation. Every betrayal was a positioning. Every loss was a rearrangement of the pieces on a board that he could not see. And when the secret was finally exposed, when his brothers stood there trembling, waiting for vengeance, that man did not say, "Now you know who I really am, and you should be afraid." No. He looked at them with tears in his eyes and said, "You meant it for evil, but God meant it for good." That man was Joseph. And the secret of what was done to him did not become his prison. It became his platform. Do you see what I am showing you? The thing that has just been exposed in your life is not the end of your story. It is the revelation of the setup. It is the moment when the hidden thing is brought into the light so that the light can do what light always does. Light does not expose to destroy. Light exposes to heal. Light exposes to set free. Light exposes so that the thing that has been festering in the dark can finally be cleansed and turned into something that brings life. The secret connected to your name was never meant to define you. It was meant to be redeemed. And redemption does not erase the past. Redemption takes the past and repurposes it. It takes the broken pieces and arranges them into something more beautiful than what was there before. It takes the shame and transforms it into a testimony. It takes the hidden thing and turns it into the very thing that sets other people free. Look at what I did with Joseph. I did not remove the memory of the pit. I did not erase the years of slavery. I did not make him forget the false accusation or the long-forgotten years in prison. I took every single one of those things and I wove them into a thread of rescue. Because of what Joseph went through, because of where he had been and what he had endured, he was in the exact right place at the exact right time to save an entire nation. Not in spite of his pain. Because of it. And I am doing the same thing with you right now. You think this secret is a scandal. I tell you, it is a setup. You think this exposure is a humiliation. I tell you, it is a preparation. You think the name you carry has been tarnished. I tell you, your name is about to mean something you never imagined it could mean. Because the testimony that is coming out of this moment is going to reach people who have been hiding their own secrets. People who have been buried under their own families' silences. People who have been carrying shame that was never theirs to carry. And when they hear your story, when they hear how I met you in the middle of the exposure and did not leave you there, they are going to know that there is hope for them too. But you have to let me do this. You have to stop trying to control the narrative. You have to stop trying to manage the damage. You have to stop hiding your face and start lifting it up, because I am about to do something in the light that you could never have received in the dark. I want you to think about a specific moment. A moment that happened recently, maybe even in the last few days. A moment when the weight of this secret felt so heavy that you almost could not breathe. And in that moment, something small happened. Something almost imperceptible. A text message came through from someone you had not heard from in a while. A song came on the radio that made you stop. A memory surfaced that you had not thought about in years. A stranger said something to you that felt oddly specific, oddly personal, like they knew something they could not possibly know. You almost missed it. You almost wrote it off as coincidence. But I want you to think about it again right now. Think about that moment. Because that was me. That was me sending a signal through the noise. That was me reaching through the chaos of your thoughts to touch you with the smallest thread of hope. That was me saying, I am here. I have not left. I am working in the middle of this. Do you remember it now? Good. Hold on to that. Because that small moment is the seed of everything I am about to grow. The name you carry is not an accident. It was not given to you by chance. Before you were formed in your mother's womb, I knew you. Before the secret was ever buried, I saw this moment. Before the foundation of the world was laid, I already had a plan for what I would do when this truth came to light. Nothing that has happened has surprised me. Nothing that is happening right now has caught me off guard. I am not scrambling to fix this. I am not worried about how it looks. I am not concerned about what people will say. I am the God who called light out of darkness. And I am calling life out of this exposure. So let me say this to you clearly, directly, so that there is no confusion about what I am declaring over your life. The secret that was meant to silence you has become the song you will sing. The thing that was hidden in the dark is now the testimony that will light a path for others. The name that you thought was stained is about to be lifted up in a way that glorifies me and sets captives free. You are not diminished by this. You are being prepared. I need you to say that out loud right now. Say it to me. Say, I am being prepared, not diminished. Say it. Let it land in your own ears. Let it settle into your spirit. Because the enemy has been speaking the opposite over you for too long. And the only way to break the power of a lie is to speak the truth louder than the lie was ever spoken. Now, I want you to think about the person who is connected to this secret. The one whose choices or whose silence led to this moment. I know how you feel about them. I know the anger, the betrayal, the confusion, the desire to confront them, to demand answers, to make them feel even a fraction of the pain you are feeling. I know all of that. And I am not telling you to pretend it does not exist. But I am asking you to trust me with it. Because the same grace that is covering you right now, the same grace that is holding you together while the walls of your old understanding are falling down, that same grace is extended to them. I love them as much as I love you. I have been working on their heart too. I have been preparing them for this moment, even if they do not know it yet. And the healing that is available to you is available to them. Do not let this exposure become a weapon. Do not let this truth become a wedge that drives you further from the people I have placed in your life. Let it become a bridge. Let it become the thing that finally clears the air so that real relationship can begin, not based on pretense, not based on silence, but based on the kind of honesty that only comes when the light has fully come. You are not the victim of this story. You are the heir of it. You are the one I have chosen to carry this testimony into the next generation. You are the one who will look back on this moment and see not the day your name was exposed, but the day your name was redeemed. So take a breath. Breathe deep. Let your shoulders drop. Let the tension in your jaw release. You have been holding yourself so tightly, as if bracing for a blow that is never going to come. The blow already came, and I caught it. I absorbed it. I turned it. And what is coming toward you now is not destruction. It is delivery. I am going to pray over you now. Not the kind of prayer you recite. The kind of prayer that changes things. And I want you to receive it the way you would receive a blanket wrapped around your shoulders on the coldest night of your life. Just let it settle over you. Father, I thank you for this child of yours who has been carrying a weight that was never meant for their shoulders. I thank you that you saw this moment before time began and that you have already prepared the way through it. I ask you now to pour out a spirit of wisdom and revelation over them. Let the eyes of their heart be flooded with light so that they can know the hope to which you have called them. Let them see that this exposure is not the end but the beginning of something they could not have accessed any other way. Grant them courage, not the courage of denial, but the courage of honest facing. Give them the strength to look at the truth without flinching, because they know that the one who is with them is greater than anything that has been revealed. Protect their mind from the endless replays of what could have been or what should have been. Anchor them in the present moment where I am actively working. Heal the places in their heart that have been wounded by betrayal. Heal the relationships that have been strained by secrets. Heal the part of them that wonders if they can ever trust again. Restore what was stolen in the silences. Restore what was lost in the years of pretending. Restore the joy that was buried under the weight of what they did not know. Provide for every practical need that has been shaken by this revelation. If finances are involved, I am already making a way. If legal matters are involved, I am already directing the outcome. If family dynamics are shifting, I am already knitting hearts back together. Nothing is beyond my reach. Nothing is too tangled for me to untangle. Give them peace that does not depend on everything being resolved. Give them the kind of peace that sits in the middle of the storm and refuses to panic. Give them the stillness of a child who knows their father is in control, even when the circumstances say otherwise. And I ask you to use this testimony. Use the story that is being written right now. Let it be a seed that falls into good soil and produces a harvest of freedom for everyone who hears it. Let the name that was almost buried under shame be lifted up as a banner of your grace. I ask all of this in the name that is above every name, the name that broke every chain, the name that conquered every grave. Amen. Now, my child, I have one more thing to say to you before you go. You are going to walk out of this room and the world is going to look the same as it did when you walked in. But something in you has shifted. Something in you has been settled. And I want you to carry that with you. I want you to carry the knowledge that the secret is no longer a secret, and that is not a loss, it is a release. You are free from guarding something that was never yours to guard. You are free from the weight of a silence that was suffocating you. You are free to walk in the light without fear of what might be found. And because you have been set free, I am asking you to take this freedom to someone else. There is someone in your life who is still carrying their own buried secret, their own hidden shame, their own family silence. They do not know how to speak it. They do not know if they can survive having it spoken. But you know now. You know what it feels like to have the light come. You know what it feels like to be met in the middle of the exposure by a love that does not flinch. Go and find them. Not with a lecture. Not with a sermon. Just with a presence that says, I know what it is like. And I am still here. And so is he. Let them hear what you have heard tonight. Let them receive what you have received. Because what has been given to you is not a possession to hold. It is a river to share. And as you go, remember this one thing. Your name is written on my hand. It has always been written there. And nothing that is uncovered in the dark can erase what is inscribed in the light. Go in peace. Walk in freedom. Live as the child of God that you have always been.